يا حسين 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 يا حسين 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 يا حسين.
Imam Hussein does not belong to one group. He has been acknowledged and revered by figures of all demographics and denominations throughout time.
If we are to understand the meaning of Karbala, we need to take it out of an Iraqi context, out of a Shia context, out of a Muslim context, and to see it as a piece profoundly of human drama. As a community, we have a history. We didn't just start with our own generation, and we can look back into how other human beings lived the human project. We can take examples from them. We can also take warnings from them. These are the circumstances that led these people to do these terrible things. This is the person who in this situation responded in this wonderful and noble way.
It can only give us positive things to take back, no matter which group we belong to.
I don't believe that the message of Al-Imam Hussein is limited to a race or a nation or a religion even. As much as I do believe that the message of Jesus Christ is not limited to a nation or a race or a color or a whatever. Both have a universal message, and the universality of the message comes from the depth of it, the rooted in their culture, rooted in their faith, rooted in their love to their people and to God. This is what makes both messages universal.
Imam Hussein must have infiltrated Hindu culture, Hindu experience, Hindu life, because Islam has existed in India for a long time. How it does, it's not easy to tell, but it stands to reason that it would have some influence on Hindu life. Tazia was one of the ways that we celebrated it, and it created a bit of a conflict with the local Muslim community. The Hindus introduced a lot of music and singing. It was celebrated in Guyana, Trinidad, and Jamaica as Tazia. In Trinidad, they call it Hussein, after Hussein, and the same in Jamaica, where there are Hindus and Muslims, very, very small numbers, but it's called Hussein there. But in Guyana, it's called Tazia.
Remembering, keeping alive, commemorating those events gives us something upon which we can reflect in our own human lives today. I, as a Christian, would also want to take my own lessons in remembering the events of Karbala, to remember the day. We have a phrase, to keep the day as holy. Holy not in the sense that this is a wonderful thing, but holy in the sense that this is a profound moment of human history. And then to remember the events, to keep them alive. The word remember doesn't just mean, oh, I recall the facts. It means, in a sense, remembering them, reliving them. They live on in my life and memory. And so I am reflecting then, what do those events mean for me today, and how do they speak to my human condition? I think the second thing is that Imam Hussein is called the Prince of Martyrs. And as the Prince of Martyrs, he gives an example to every human being of total surrender, total submission to the will of God. Because the martyr is one who makes the total surrender of their life to God, Even my very existence is in your hands. If it be your will, I will accept death at the hand of the enemy. And this reminds us of the human need to surrender all to God, to acknowledge that we are the servants of God, that our lives do not belong to us, they belong to God. And if it should please God that I should die at this time in this way, who am I to complain? Who am I to say to God, I know better? So martyrdom is a profound example of human submission, of human acceptance of the divine will in all things. Now, we may not be called to martyrdom today, but we are called to submit to the will of God today in every way. So remembering the events of Karbala are a way of remembering the human vocation to be the servant of God.
The grandchildren of the beloved Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, the upholders of the Quran and the Sunnah to Nabi sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, why should they not be mentioned when they have given every last drop of their blood for the sake of the Ummah to Nabi sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam? It is only rightful that we are able to remember, commemorate, because in remembering and commemorating, you are telling the foes that here we are, they are not forgotten, they are alive in our heart. Allah has preserved their bodies, Allah will preserve them forever. If the severed head of Sayyidina Imam Hussein radiallahu ta'ala an was still reciting the Quran on the spear, then our Iman has not moved from there. Our Iman is that he still is reciting the Holy Quran. This is the maqam, the karama of Sayyidina Imam Hussein radiallahu ta'ala an, and that we need to commemorate personalities like that. It is mafrudun alayna, it is fard upon us. It is the only way we can show to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala we are submissive to you. How can we be submissive to Allah without remembering his anbiyas? If we want to remember the anbiyas, we will have to follow their sunnah and their advice. How can we claim to have remembrance of the anbiya alayhimus salatu wasalam when we do not remember those people who have preserved the actions and the sayings and the doings of the anbiya alayhimus salatu wasalam? And they are the greatest and the elite amongst us. Ala inna awliya Allahi la khawfun alayhim wa lahum yahzanun. Indeed, the awliya Allah, the friends of Allah, are those who have no fear or worry whatsoever, because they've never done anything for their own sake. They've only done things for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I think there is often a misconception and misunderstanding that the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah do not commemorate Muharram. Myself, I am an Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. In here we have not only 10 days, but the whole of the month of Muharram is commemorated and dedicated in the remembrance and building up from the verses of the Quran to the Ahlulbaytul Athar. So we consider them absolutely valid. We consider mentioning them part of our ibadah, part of our way of life. The Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah maintain the importance of the dhikr, and the importance of transferring the pledge of the love of the Ahlulbaytul Athar. I am from among that category, and I sincerely love and I am connected with the Ahlulbaytul Athar.